Welcome to Cosmic Conscious Vibration, unlocking your inner universe with me, Reverend Dr. Kimmie and Dr. Pat. Are you on a personal journey of spiritual self-discovery? We provide practical ways to connect with your higher self to live a more meaningful life while deepening your connection to source consciousness. Learn the benefits of living a more mindful existence to reclaim your personal power. Join us as we explore insights to a deeper understanding of the nature of consciousness. Learn to listen better to your intuition and your heart's desires, putting you on a path of manifesting the life you are meant to live. The Cosmic Conscious Vibration Show is your catalyst for a consciousness revolution based on universal love and oneness. It all starts now.
Hey, everybody, welcome to a great edition of this show. Reverend Dr. Kimmie is in the driver's seat. Today, we're going to talk about mastering the moment. All right, look, let's get right at it. Mastering the moment. You know, we hear different ways of expressing this, Reverend Dr. Kimmie. We hear this, right? But this is an exciting topic for now. What does this mean, and why is mastering the moment so important in the moment you and I are in right now?
Well, because when you're mastering the moment, let me just back up before I even start that. When you consider mastering the moment, we're talking about presence, right? And why it's a powerful force. So many of us are in this constant state of what's next, what's going to happen. And we're thinking about the future so much and dwelling on the past that we are not living in the moment. We're not living in the now. And so we're attaching things to the present. To the past. We're trying to figure out what the future holds, but you can't manifest. You're manifesting all willy-nilly that way. You're not doing it from a source of strength, a source of in the present moment of that power that is in that moment. There's no power in the past. The past it is what it is, right? It's gone.
Yeah.
And the future, whatever you're manifesting can predict the future, yes, but it's because you've brought it into existence in the present, So when we're deeply present, we're in this state of awareness that's free from limitations of the past, regrets, future anxiety, especially future anxieties. A lot of people are fearing a lot of anxiety right now, and you can't do that. You're giving the anxieties more power. You're giving the bad things more power by doing that. So what you have to do is stay in that present moment. And that's where all the possibilities exist. In this state, our intentions resonate more strongly and can be infused into the energy around us, right? So we're making it easier to attract our desires. You don't want to go out, like what I said, manifesting all willy-nilly from, you can't, if you really keep thinking about all the negative in the world or all the negative in your life, you're manifesting more negative in your life. You're manifesting more negative in the world. So that's why that's so important. It's very important right now.
So, what we're talking about is, first of all, honoring the moment you're in and knowing that that is the moment that you live. Yeah. You've lived the past moments. You're about to live the future moments. But the ones that we are right in right now are the moments where we have the greatest connection to the world of infinite possibilities. But I want to be really clear about this, right? And because I want to talk about some practices. Often we get confused with being in the present moment and accepting everything in the present moment. And there's a difference.
Oh, yes.
You can be in the present moment and still have a voice in the present moment. We're not saying that. But when you sit down and you have 25 pages of things you're worrying about, you're not in the present moment, nor are you available to the quantum physics of manifestation, right?
Right. See,
Bingo.
that quantum field is important.
Yeah.
The quantum field is this vast, interconnected web of energy that holds all the possibilities. None of those possibilities have form. until we collectively, or yourself for something in your personal life, give it form. And when you're giving it form, that means you're putting energy into it. And when you do that from the present moment, you're able to really truly get the best for your highest good. Get that best outcome. You're not tethered to anything. Your past gives you experiences, yes, but we also have to remember that time here is linear, but time is never linear. We know quantum physics tells us that. All these, science tells us that. We know if you go out in space, your minute it goes like this, right? Of course, we can't survive just floating out there, but still, it's still the same thing. When you are giving the quantum field, being that it's our interconnectedness, whatever you're thinking about in the present moment, that is in the collective consciousness. So you're bringing it forth. You have to bring things forth from the present moment. You can't attach yourself to parts, because the quantum field doesn't care about the past. It doesn't even, what is the past? The past is now. The future is now. Everything is in the now, So you can't, you need to become fluid. You need to become fluid with the quantum. So if you're rigid and therefore you're not going to be shaping your reality to create your life, the best life you want, if you're going to be having these rigid rules, because there's rules to the universe, true, but when you're creating, we're all creator beings. Every last one of us is a creator. So when we create, we're creating in that present moment. That's the only time you can create.
So when we're talking about this and people understand this, is we're looking at a space. And what I mean is a space, an energy field, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
But we're looking at an energy field that will allow us to take the next action we're going to take. So this is where we have gotten into trouble decades before about be here now, be in the present moment. So often what we think about that, and we learn this through the whole unhappiness with The Secret, is that nobody said be here now and do nothing. The idea of be in the moment or be in the present moment is so you can hear what to do next.
Yes.
So let's talk about that, because people are going to need right now, they're going to need some guidance on how do we do this? What are some effective practices now so we could stay in that moment and understand that the moment is not a place to live. It is a place that we really absorb the possibilities. Our present moment can guide us to what's next. So let's talk about how we ground ourselves in these times of uncertainty.
Right. Now, before I get into like a coaching aspect of this, I just want to bring it back a little bit to the spiritual side of this, because you brought up The Secret, for example, right? And that taught us a lot of things about manifesting and how things truly work. It's not the only book, but it's one of those well-known, a lot of people read that book. But from a spiritual standpoint, we often refer to that being present. It lets us to connect to our true self, right? That's the I am, right? You are the universe. You are everything and nothing all at once. There's a movie, that everything all at once or something, I forget.
Yeah.
Basically, she's like the epitome of all of this, right? That's everywhere. She's everywhere, right? And you are too. You are a multidimensional being. So with being that multidimensional being, you can automatically tap into those higher frequencies of love, peace, and clarity if you allow yourself to be present. Now, from a coaching aspect, you want to cultivate presence, and it's a foundation of self-awareness. You can't be present if you're not self-aware. That's one of the first things. And so when I teach clients about encouraging them to like observe and release their limiting beliefs, our habitual thought patterns that don't serve them anymore, that presence offers that sense of empowerment. But also, like you said, that doesn't mean do nothing. That means you're listening to yourself, being able to hone in just to yourself, your soul, right?
Yeah.
And when you do that, you are allowing, you're empowered to make those conscious choices that align with those values that you know to be true. If it doesn't bring Your body knows truth. Your soul knows your truth, right? So when you are sitting even in quiet stillness and being present in the now, you literally are listening to your body and listening to it. And when you listen to it just by sitting still, seriously, it doesn't take, I think a lot of people think it's so complex. Just sit still. Just be still. I don't mean be a monk, but be still and just listen to yourself. And then you can quiet the noise and the chatter, that monkey mind, and get to who you truly are and manifest from that point.
So then what we're saying is, if this is the key, right? And who doesn't want this, right? I
Right.
mean, what we're talking about is, here you're sitting, you may not be feeling great today. I know many of you are not. And yet at the same time, the question is, how long are we going to stay in this middle of, chaotic uncertainty that we've created for ourselves? And so if we really point to understanding to get to that point to spirituality, then there are some things we should learn how to do. And I know in your coaching practice, this is what you do, but let's talk about this now from different perspectives of what people can do to shift, right? To stop from being 15, 20, 30 years out into the future, but to bring yourself right to the moment, because that's where you'll get the energy and the idea of what to do. That's where it will come up. You will learn in a nanosecond what is yours to do. But man, we need some tools. So take us back to that.
When it comes to the tools, the one that I said earlier is literally being still. That is, I talk about that one a lot because it's really a matter of you need to know yourself before you can manifest anything of good for yourself. If you don't know yourself and what your soul wants, then it doesn't really matter, does it? Because then you're manifesting from your ego or your subconscious, right? So breathing exercises are really great. Sitting still is really great. Integrating these simple things, and also when it comes down to, like, at the moment we're in right now, for example, you need to kind of curb your diet of whatever you consume will eventually consume you, right? So when you feed your negative thoughts a diet of, be it the news or just worries, you are creating that and more of it. So that's why I say being still is so important, and being quiet and being with yourself is so important, because you're able to think for yourself and not have the influence of other things running around in your mind as much. Because if not, we move from being passive participants in our lives to becoming intentional architects. So those external circumstances, whether they're challenges or just what's going on in the world, they can fall away in that stillness.
Yeah.
And that's really a matter of, got to do that these days.
Okay. So how do we do it? What can we give some people to do to help them ground themselves today?
Grounding. Now, I did do a whole thing on my podcast about chakras, and I did a really good thing on there about grounding. Grounding is very important. And I know a lot of people talk about grounding, but grounding is very important. There are several ways you can ground. You can go outside, touch some grass, touch Mother Earth, hug a tree. I know that sounds weird, but nature she grounds you all the time. You just got to give her a chance to, put your feet in the dirt. Actually planting things, doing things in the earth is another way. People think that's not, no. Gardening is actually grounding, because you're working with Mother Earth. You're digging in the earth. You're being conscious. Your feet, you know what I mean? That's one thing. Rocks are a good thing. Even visualization, just making, using that, your visualization and your energy field, or just how you feel, just imagining, being rooted into the earth. That's a key one. You can do that anywhere. You don't have to go hug a tree. You can literally just sit somewhere and just visualize being anchored right into Mother Earth. That grounds you in the present moment. Another way that's a quick one is just when you do a mindfulness exercise of just sitting, let things, like, say if something comes into your mind, for example, like, oh God, I need to go do this at 12 o'clock. Okay, that's great. Let it go and put it in a little box over on the side in your brain, right? You don't need to worry about that right now because that's later, not now. You need to focus on the now. So there's a lot of ways to ground ourselves. That my favorite, of course, since it is, but is nature. To be fair, nature is the best one.
Mm-hmm. So part of this, though, is as we take a look at this for ourselves, what we also understand is that out of this, we want to create a state of harmony in the quantum field. I
Yes.
mean, that's really the end game of this. Can you talk about, where we are today, what it means to live in harmony? And I love the word harmony because I'm not a believer in balance. So that word you'll never hear me say. But harmony is something you hear in music, in the types of music. I was listening to music coming in here today, and I was listening. I shouldn't say never. Rarely, though, do I hit the classical channel, but every once in a while, I'm in the mood.
Right.
So, but I happened to turn to Chopin this morning, a piano concerto, and I just thought, this guy was either really genius or really depressed, one or the other. That's the way.
Probably both.
I'm like, when people always like to tell me about how certain music is depressing, I'm just saying, but whatever it was powerful. So let's talk about how we create the harmonies, because the harmonies that went into that music I listened to were there on purpose
Yes.
to
Yes.
demonstrate. So
Yes.
how do we create the harmony in our life now?
Well, embracing life as it comes and trusting that we're the co-creators of all that there is, of our reality, we become empowered to respond consciously rather than react to external pressures. So that's a harmony right there, because you're living in the moment, letting it, ebb. Because the thing about harmony is it goes up and down and ebbs and flows, right? Kind of
Yeah.
like vibration, right? All of that stuff, living in harmony, we can feel calm. Even in the world feels chaotic, you need to be able to come to center. So when the world is all crazy and stuff, um, that calm, that stillness, that meaningful contributions to the positive change without absorbing, not
Right.
absorbing, but being in the flow, that flow state. That's where I feel harmony is. And when you ground in the present moment, we are getting that stability and that possibility that even amid uncertain things, we're able to find that calm. You ever see those? I don't know, it's a video or something where it's like the ship is blowing up and people are walking and everything is all chaotic. It's this video I saw one time, and then it's like George Washington or somebody just walking real calm, and everything is blowing up.
Oh my gosh, all the Equalizer movies with
Right? Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Denzel
exactly.
Washington.
Right. So
It's
everything's
like,
all blowing up, chaos, and he's just like, that's
oh,
how we have to be. But
yeah.
amongst all the chaos, we have to find our calm within, because you can't be happy if you haven't found the happiness within. That's the only thing that's going to make you happy. And that harmony, that inner harmony.
Yeah. And look, each of us go about things differently. I get curious, right? That's just where I come from. I start to get curious and I start to notice things. But here's the thing that I've discovered, and maybe you can talk to this. You see, being in the present moment for some people gives them different ranges of emotions. All emotions are good, but it's what
Yes.
you do with them.
Right.
And nobody is I'm not telling anybody because I know better than if you are grieving, I'm never going to tell you to suck it up. It's
Right.
not going to happen. But if you're projecting something on years to come, and clearly with this election, that is what's happening. People are projecting, but they're not just projecting 4 years, they're projecting 12 years out. So they have a sense of helplessness. Here's the thing. in what we're talking about here, being the present, being here now, being in the present moment, the magic of that doesn't mean you don't do things.
Right.
Doesn't mean you don't take the action that will allow you to become empowered, so long as you don't harm another person. I just need to
Right.
say
That's
that
where
right there.
inspired action comes in,
Yeah,
because
boy.
you have to have inspired action. That's part of the creation process, that inspired action. The universe wouldn't just tell you to sit there and that's it. Okay, you've manifested. What are you doing? You're just sitting. I understand that you need to sit down with yourself and listen, but the act of just sitting there and listening, okay, so you've got the message now that you listen to. Now, what are you going to do with the message
Yeah.
is the key. And projecting years upon years out, or this, or you have to be the change within. And if you know what you want, you've got your mission, right? Your soul mission, whatever your self tells you that you need to do. Mind you, don't hurt nobody, but you know what I'm saying? When you listen to yourself and you go out and you figure out how that will manifest, right? Maybe that means doing more stuff in your community. Maybe that
Yeah.
means um uh doing something simple like, giving food away. Whatever it looks like for you, but that's your inspired action. So the universe is never going to say, okay, that's great that you know what you need to do, now just sit there. Like,
No,
every
yeah.
action has an reaction. You got to do
So,
something.
and that's what we're talking about here today. But look, for people that cannot do it alone, they can call you because that's part of
Yes.
your coaching practice.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about folks out there. I've said it a million times. I didn't get here because I did everything myself. No, I've lots of help. And especially in times where I feel scared or uncertain. I mean, these are the times to help people. How do they find out more about you, and tell folks about your other show?
Oh, yes. Well, my other show is on the Transformation Talk Radio as well, and that is on the fourth Wednesday of the month. I always forget. And the next one, honestly, is going to be really important because it's about love and hate. And there's a thin line between love and hate, not to sound like a song or anything, but that I think is a very important topic right now. And as far as where to find me, REVDRKIMMIE is my website. You can also find me on LinkedIn or TikTok for my mostly just me uncut type of things. But
Mhm.
those are where you can find me. And I do coaching, I do energy healing, all of that stuff just to get you where you need to be and help.
Great. So, what's we talked about a number of things today, but what's your parting message? What would you like to leave people with today?
Well, today, I think with everything that's going on, I want people to embody resilience. And we need to choose to embody that
Mhm.
and be committed to positive change. The quantum field, responds to energy, whatever we bring it, right? So we need to basically, each moment is an opportunity to rewrite our narrative. And as we are in the quantum field, that also affects other people. So I want everyone to basically know that you're powerful. Okay. And the quantum field allows you to use your power as a creator to manifest the reality that you want to see, and the changes you want to see in the world. And when we do it one at a time, collectively, we can also change the world.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, how do we find out more about you? Let's give people some information if we could.
It's Reverend Dr. Kimmie. So REVDRKIMMIE.com is the website. And of course, I'm on LinkedIn and TikTok as well. And just email me, even, So all of that's on my website. But yeah, you can easily just reach out.
Yeah.
I am definitely not going to bite.
Well, and this is a time where people need help, and
Hmm.
especially about this.
Hmm.
We may think we got this nailed down about how to be in the present moment. It's a lifelong journey. But the thing that I want everybody to know is being in the present moment doesn't mean that you become inactive and doing something for what you believe in. That
Right.
doesn't mean, but if you're in the present moment, you're going to get very clean, pure guidance. That's what you get in the present moment.
Yeah.
You don't get gloom and doom. That's what
No.
happens when we start to project out.
Mm-hmm.
Fear, doubt, and insecurity will not get you what you want, right?
No, it'll just bring you more of that.
Reverend Kimmie says it got to be true. Thank you so much for today. Thank you for this show. It is a great reminder of what we all need. Again, people can catch you on your other show.
Yep.
They can go to your website. And by the way, Reverend Kimmie is a phenomenal coach. Thank you all for tuning us in, turning us on. We'll see you next time.
You too. Have a good day. Thank you for listening to Cosmic Conscious Vibration, Unlocking Your Inner Universe. I'm Dr. Kimmie, and along with Dr. Pat, we have been discussing the nature of consciousness for ways to deepen your connection to Source. Join us on the second Tuesday of each month at 11 a.m. Pacific Time on Transformation Talk Radio, as we provide the information to assist you on your personal spiritual journey. You play an important role in the interconnectedness of all things. For more information on the benefits of living a more mindful existence, please visit www.revdrkimmie.com. That's ReverendDrKimmie.com.